Hey, beautifuls. Hey, beautifuls. Welcome to this evening's edition of A Beautiful Life. I am your host, Katrina Henderson of Unbreakable Memories, where we are creating a beautiful life. Listen, I haven't been on for a couple weeks, 2 weeks maybe, due to some family things, but I'm back tonight. So, tonight we are talking about self doubt, right? And how to empower you to reach your full potential. Because listen, that doubt, when that doubt kicks in, it will keep you stuck. It will keep you from moving forward in your purpose and in your calling. So, we are going to break that down because, listen, self doubt had me in a chokehold, right? Self doubt and not feeling confident kept me from believing in what's possible, right? Hey, beautiful, how are you? Kept me from believing in what's possible. So, we're going to talk about that. Um, First thing, when you think about your self doubt, anytime you question who you are, what you're capable of doing, what beauty mark you leave for the world, right? Um, you are, I don't want to say leave it, setting yourself up, but you're not, in a way you are, right? Because we all know who God has created us to be. We know that He's created us confident, beautiful, worthy, capable. But because of the different things that we go through, right? Because of the different trials, the circumstances that we go through, limiting beliefs come in, right? The naysayers, we always hear it with the story is in repeat on our mind about, you'll never be able to do anything. You'll never be able to do that. Or if I don't have this certain skill set, then I can't keep moving. When we all know that those are really just distractions from from keeping us from walking in who God has fully created us to be, right? It's one thing for us to, not necessarily know all the steps, but it's another thing to allow the limiting beliefs to come into play. And that's one of the things that we were overcoming and conquering in the No More Excuse intensive is that limiting belief and understanding that overthinking and thinking that we're not equipped or called hinders us, right? It keeps us stuck. And it's time for us to really release all of that, release the doubt, because I'm waiting on you, right? You're waiting on me. The thing that you have, the purpose that you have, the calling that you have, it's not for you. It's for God to get the glory. It's for someone else. And the longer we hold on to the self doubt, the longer it takes for our assignment to get fulfilled. So, negative self talk, right? That's when the doubt comes in. We've got to be able to pay attention to the thoughts that are running through our mind. Like when the thought comes, sit with it for a second, but ask, is there truth to it? Right? If there's no truth to it, if you know deep down in your heart that that negative limiting belief doesn't really apply to you, that was just someone said it to you along the way, some belief that you picked up along the way. But if that no longer pertains to you or no longer even was yours from the very beginning, then you've got to release that. But the only way that you can do that is to go to God and say, what is the truth in this, right? There's an exercise that I do where we're looking at our flaws and all. And we are looking at what we perceive as a flaw or limiting belief and sitting with those things that we've carried with us for so long. And then we're going to God and saying, okay, what's the truth in this? What is it that you see about me, about this thing? The one I always use because it was the hardest one for me to accept was my stomach, right? As moms, women, you know that your stomach is a challenge, right? And so I had to understand the truth was, right, the God's perspective of my stomach was that I birthed three beautiful babies, and that during the process of carrying them, they were protected, they were comforted, they were kept safe. And so I had to shift my perspective on now my stomach is being something beautiful because of what I carried, because of what the nurturing that I was able to give my kids. So when we're thinking about the self doubt and this negative self talk, reverse that thing and start believing the opposite because that's what God has given you. That's what God has said is beautiful. So let go of the doubt, that negative self talk, and look yourself in the mirror and say, that's not truth. And this is what the truth is. So every time that limiting belief, anytime that negative comes into play, what's the truth? Right? Teresa said, listen, we got to do it, but think about it, right? Like there's always something that we want to change. There's always going to be something about us that we want to change. But what's the truth? Can you, when you have that negative doubt or that negative self talk, what's the truth? Ask yourself, you got two questions. Can I be okay with this? Or am I willing to change? And if you're willing to change, what are the steps that you can do to be able to change that? If you're holding on to somebody's belief because they're just maybe intimidated about the power that you have, and so they're going to tell you that you can't be anything, but you know you can because of look what you've overcome, then you've already knocked out their fear of you. You've already canceled that out. The other thing that doubt does for us, it causes us to procrastinate, right? How many times have we sat back and forth on an idea and didn't want to pull the trigger and just go for it because we thought that we weren't able to do it, right? Procrastination will rob you of your assignment. Procrastination will rob you from moving forward and walking in your beautiful because you think, right, that you can't do it. And so you sit on it, right? Maybe you think, okay, well, I got to have steps 1 through 10, but God is saying, I just need you on step 1. You don't need to worry about 10 right now. But the procrastination comes in and we'll say, well, I don't know steps 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But God is like, I just need you to focus on that first step, right? So don't let the self doubt, the doubt that we may have for not knowing all the steps, the doubt that we may have for wondering whether we're even equipped for the assignment. Because if I can sit on here and I can speak on beautiful and inspire you, knowing the journey that I've had, then listen, there is nothing you can't tell me God can do, right? There's nothing that's in your way, no obstacle, no nothing. No, listen, I'm a living testimony. If I could sit on here and encourage you to find your beautiful because I had to find mine and do the work, then that thing that you're holding on to, you need to release it and let it go, right? Let me be the example to know like anything is possible and there's no more procrastination. When you say yes, right, to the assignment and like you're really all in, and I mean 10 toes, 10 fingers, like everything is all in. When you say yes to God, trust and believe that He is going to give you the steps, He's going to give you the community, He's going to give you the provision, He's going to give you everything, right? Everything that you need for the assignment, He's going to give it. But us and our fear, us and our self doubt, walking in procrastination hinders us. But when we let it go and we say, okay, God, I'm all in. I'm all in despite my fear. I'm all in despite not knowing all the steps. I'm all in not knowing where the money is going to come from. That's the trust, right? That's all He's looking for. He's just asking, like, are you going to trust me in this? We've trusted Him for everything else. Why not this? Right? So don't let procrastination stand in the way. Don't let the self doubt. Teen Childs, y'all just talked about perfectionism. That's the next thing that I want to talk about too. Perfectionism is like a dirty word for us, right? Because we're not perfect by any means. God is the only perfect one. So if we can understand that there's no perfect plan, I don't care how many times you try and plan something out and think you've got every step covered, there's bound to have something go wrong. There's bound to be something that breaks. There's bound to be technical difficulties. Y'all know how I was on the first live that I tried to do, the technical difficulties I had. There's always going to be something wrong. So be prepared for that, right? To be honest, the thing that's going wrong, that's just another trust muscle. That's just working your faith muscle because you're going to be able to say, okay, God is saying, are you going to trust me in this? Are you going to trust me when the microphone don't work? Are you going to trust me when the lights don't turn on? Are you going to trust me no matter what? Perfectionism. That's another thing. Don't let it rob you anymore. That's it, Teresa. It doesn't have to be perfect. It does not have to be perfect at all. Because when we learn, right, when we're working this thing out and mistakes happen, now look at those mistakes, look at the things that went wrong as learning opportunities. You can say, God, hey, why did this happen? And let him talk to you about it. Let him show you. Maybe he's saying that I had to let that happen because you wouldn't let it go, right? I had to, maybe there's a relationship that you're holding on to, but God had to let that thing fall away because of the impact it was having on you. Like whatever it is, perfectionism will keep you always searching and looking for something and working towards it. And then when it doesn't happen the way that you want to, our number one instinct is to shut down. At least mine is. Like I don't care what I try and do. The minute something happens, I'm ready to shut down. But God is like, no, 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 no. You got to still keep going. Like, are you going to still keep going when there's no one in the room? Are you going to still keep going when the sales don't come in? Are you going to still keep going when your family is falling apart, right? Like, whatever it is, are you going to still keep going? And you have to understand that if you said yes, then you got yes to every single answer and every single question he asked. He's just asking you, are you going to trust me in this? This one that we are dealing with right now, actually, in the Beautiful Society this month, is on comparison. Comparing yourself to others will have you doubting yourself left and right. If you look at someone else that may be doing the same thing that you're doing or doing the thing that you desire, and you start saying, well, God, why not me? Right? Why am I not doing that? Or why am I not having the same momentum, the same return on my investment? Like I got skin in the game. Why things not moving the way that they need to move for me? Then you now start questioning God's plan, right? Because you're wondering why your season hasn't happened yet. But the thing that we have to understand when we compare to others is one, we didn't know their journey, right? We don't know all the steps, all the hoops that they had to jump through, all of the reroutes and the pivots that they had to make to get there. Like you don't know their journey, right? Social media will have us looking, well, that's a beautiful thing, right? They boom and they got the car, they got the house, they got the dog, they got the man, whatever it is. But that's only one side of the story. You don't know, one, is that really truth? Or are they just renting it out for proof of social media, right? Or, you know, they may have the house, the cars, and all the other stuff, but you may not see the liens. You may not see the bankrupt notices. You may not see the foreclosure notices. Like you may not see behind the scenes because all we're seeing is what's in the front. We're seeing what they want us to see. So the next time you compare or think you're going to compare yourself to somebody else, stop and tell yourself that you are equally as amazing, if not more, and you no longer have to compare. You are equally amazing, if not more, and you do not have to compare because you do not know their journey, right? You don't know all the bumps and bruises that they had to do to get there. So the next time you compare, just stop and say, I am equally amazing, if not more, and I do not have to compare. Like this is it has to be an eye opener for you because if you think about the trials that you have had to overcome to get to where you are, then also knowing and believe that they had to do some things to get where they are. Like you definitely got to have skin in the game. Like they had to invest, right? So you don't know what their investment was. You don't know what it cost them to have the things that you see. So the next time you compare, what is it going to cost you to get that? And if God doesn't give you the provision to have that, then know that it's going to cost you a whole lot more than what you think because God is going to make a way every single time. Like He has more for you, right? He has better for you. So when we compare, we're saying, you know what, God, that's what I want, right? You see the 5-acre house with the white picket fence, and that's what you want, but you don't see what God has around the corner in terms of maybe he's got the 10 acres and the mule for you. I don't know. I'm just thinking, y'all. I'm just giving y'all an example. But you don't know. But the minute we say, God, I want what they got, then and you know he got more for you over here, then he like, my child, you settling. And that's a whole nother topic for another night. Settling, right? Don't worry about what they got. Say, God, I'm gonna trust you for what's mine. Because I know you're going to make a way. I know you're going to provide. Listen, this one right here, this next one that I'm talking about with self doubt, um, was my story for a long time. And that was feeling overwhelmed, right? When I'm overwhelmed, I'll shut down because I'm trying to, you know, I have a plan. I want things to go my way. I want to do this. I have the big vision, right? But I don't necessarily see at this moment all of the steps to get there. And if it's not happening quick enough, right? If God, I'm all in. What is it you need me to do? If I'm doing those steps, but then doors still aren't opening yet, you can get overwhelmed. I can get overwhelmed. But we have to understand that it really is all about God's timing and that we have to have patience. We have to be resilient, right? Like I've read a devotional and it was talking about like God ordering our steps and laying it all out and how for our lives we're trying to be the author of it, right? We're trying to write our story the way that we want because we want it to be, we want it to be a bestseller. We want it to be all roses. But in doing that, right, God isn't in it, right? He's no longer the author of your story because now you're trying to control it. But if we can step out the way, get out of the overwhelm and say, God, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling fearful. I'm feeling stuck. Whatever you're feeling in that moment of overwhelm, then he can say, okay, now I can take this blank page and write the story for you. Right now, he can say, okay, instead of you saying this, I want you to say that. Instead of you doing this, I want you to do that. And that takes the overwhelm away, right? Because we're following in his steps, we're following the plan that he has laid out for us. And we have to understand that. Like when we get overwhelmed, You're going to start questioning yourself. You're going to start questioning your journey. You're going to start questioning God because you're like, listen, I'm feeling it. I don't know why I'm feeling it. I need you, right? So don't allow the overwhelm to take you out. Yep, Tiff, well, either Tiff or Rick. I don't know which one. Both of y'all, if you don't want him. But yes, you're right. You don't get to hear. You don't know the no's. That's right. You don't know the no's until you hear the yes. Um, One of the things we have to do when we are trying to overcome self doubt is we have to celebrate the wins. We've got to become our biggest cheerleader. We have to accept and appreciate the achievements. Like if you didn't curse nobody out today at work, celebrate that. If you didn't have to write the email 10 different times because each time you were saying, well, I did it, y'all know how I go. Celebrate that. Like, don't allow the doubt to keep us from celebrating our achievements. We don't know everything to the story. We don't know all the steps to everything. So celebrate the victories. If you've got, two or three things that you want to get done and you were only able to get one done off your list, celebrate that. Celebrate that because that's one less thing that you have to do tomorrow, right? That's one less thing that you have to focus on because you got it done today. Celebrate the small win. Don't downplay anything that you do. If you are, thinking about you're planning a party, right? And you've got everything laid out and you've got this ordered and that or and things are starting to come in and then now something's on back order. Okay, pivot. Figure out what else you need to do to get it back into play. Don't allow that back order item to keep you from partying and doing the celebration that you're trying to plan. Like celebrate your achievements. Like it could be the littlest thing, right? And my trainer has had us looking at, every 30 days we've got we send in pictures, send in our weights and all the other stuff. And so this weekend I didn't get to go because I was celebrating my baby girl, but there was a celebration for all the work they had done for the past 30 days. Set goals like that for yourself. Like if you've got 5 things you need to get done at that fifth time, when you've accomplished that fifth thing, do something good for yourself. Buy yourself some roses, get you a massage, do something to celebrate who you are, what you've accomplished, so that that celebration can give you momentum to keep going and complete all the tasks required. Right now, no longer wait for someone else to celebrate you. When we wait on somebody else, doubt's gonna come in because we're like, man, why they don't understand what I just did here? Beautiful. Listen to me. Celebrate yourself. Don't wait for the man to give you flowers. Don't wait for that job to say thank you. Don't wait for the people to show up. Like, don't wait anymore. Celebrate your wins, celebrate your achievements. Because if you don't, then you're like, well, what did I do all this work for? So celebrate yourself. Let you become your biggest cheerleader. You become the biggest cheerleader getting you to the finish line because we've all seen it. We all know it. Not everybody who started in the journey with you is going to finish with you. And if you wait on them, if you continue to question yourself because so and so didn't show up, then you'll never get to the finish line. So celebrate your achievements, celebrate your wins. Team Childs is on here and their health and wellness. And when we have self doubt, it can be taxing on our bodies, right? We can feel anxious. We could have tension headaches. We could have tension all through our body. We could be restless. We could have whatever it is, right? When you start questioning who you are, it can send you down a black hole of depression. It can send you down just like, you don't want to get out of bed. You're just down. I'm not good enough. Like you're going back to those limiting and negative beliefs again. You have to be careful, especially this time now. And I'm experiencing that as this as well with the seasons change. Because now, it's getting darker quicker. It's not as much light out. It's getting colder. So we're not outside as often as we can. It can have, just like the seasons change and have it tax your body, so can doubt. Because if you think you're not worthy enough, when you think you're not capable enough, you'll go into a depression. You'll start saying, what's wrong with me? You'll start saying, well, what could I have done differently? You'll start saying, well, God, why isn't anyone there for me? Like you can say all the things, but we have to understand that we've got to be able to keep moving no matter what. Like up the vitamin D, up the different things. I don't know, Tiff, whatever is good for helping boost your immune system, like burn some lemon, burn some, lemon candles, but any kind of like essential oils that are boost your immune system or boost your mood, burn that. Like get the peace candle that I got, right? You need to do anything and everything that you can to overcome or combat that doubt so that it no longer has a physical hold on you because it can be taxing. I know it can be taxing. Oh, Tiff, I ain't know about inflammation. Oh, that's another conversation. Oh, sorry, y'all. I was reading the comments. Um, the other thing, self-doubt, questioning ourselves, lack of confidence can have is we miss opportunities. How many times has someone said, I need you to be in the room? But because of our doubts, because of the fear, because of the lack of confidence, we don't think we're worthy and equipped to be in the room. How many opportunities have you missed because of doubt? How many opportunities to leave your beauty mark for the world to experience have you missed because of self doubt? We're waiting on you. We're waiting on you. We need you. Don't allow any more missed opportunities. Don't allow self doubt to keep you from believing in who God has created you to be. Keep your confidence high. Like do exercises, stand in the mirror, right? We did mirror work 2 weeks ago in the conference. Pull out your mirror, and anytime you have 1 ounce of doubt, look at yourself in the mirror, put your phone on selfie mode if you need to, and tell yourself you're beautiful. Tell yourself you're capable. Tell yourself that you're worthy. Tell yourself that you're strong. Tell yourself that you're courageous. Tell yourself whatever it is you need to hear that will shut doubt up, whatever it is. If there are conversations that continuously play in your mind, shut it out, turn it off, hit mute, allow your word, your affirmations to yourself, your declarations to yourself be louder than the chaos, be louder than the enemy talking, be louder than the doubt. Affirm yourself because it's in that moment, it's in those periods where you're lifting yourself up, right? You're putting yourself in a space of gratitude. Like gratitude is a big mood shifter, if nothing else. Because how many times when we go back to thinking about the depression, right? When you can start being thankful for where you are, for what you have, for what you can do, when you start just, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. God, I thank you. God, I thank you. Your mood is going to instantly boost, right? We've seen there's prayer warriors on here. Y'all know how prayer works. Use it, right? Allow prayer, gratitude. Teresa does mindfulness. Allow whatever you need to come into your life, to come into your space, to now be so much stronger. Your practice of mindfulness, of being intentional, of getting some good sleep, like all the things that you know that are needed for your self care, it's time to amp that up. Because when you can amp up the self care, you can increase the confidence in yourself, right? You can increase the love that you have for yourself. You can increase the confidence, the worthiness. You start seeing all of that. Like, do all the things necessary to say, doubt, you no longer have a place in my life right now. Create your beautiful life, right? And tell doubt that your relationship with it has finally ended. Go back to the mirror, do your affirmations, do your self talk, do whatever is necessary to tell doubt that it no longer has a place in your life. My son back here peeking. um, so that's the story for tonight of A Beautiful Life. I shouldn't say story, but this is the edition of A Beautiful Life. Listen, y'all, don't let self doubt keep you from walking and leaving your beauty marks for the world, because we need you. I need you. My son needs you. All the things. This is A Beautiful Life. I'll talk to you next week. Have a great, beautiful evening. Bye.